Welcome ADK Wealth Advisory Group community and Financial Planning World community. Dan Davis coming to you from the Franklin, Tennessee office. With the recent market volatility and downdraft, I thought it warranted some kind of a communication to you as to what do we see happening, what are we doing, those types of things. So in its simplest form, we've been waiting for this type of a pullback really much of the year. It's been warranted because the markets have done so well for several years, but we're not looking at this as like the bear market that comes before a recession. So as you've heard me talk before, we thought that there would be a buying opportunity. We think that this probably turns into that, and we have money sitting on the sideline ready for that to occur. It's not like we're sitting in cash waiting with all our money, but there's been dry powder set aside for this. So what do we see happening? What do we think are the key components? And then what do we think we're going to be doing? So what we see happening is, in essence, the stock market has been running up quite a bit. And anytime that's happening, it gets fueled by a story. And then that story starts to have the FOMO and greed where people are piling in. And that has all been around AI. And the whole build out of it, the resourcing of it, whether it's electricity or whatever. And the bottom line is that I think that that's really real. I don't see a bubble in that in the publicly traded marketplace. I do think that there's been several articles that have talked about the house of cards, which I think is a really negative way of stating something that's real. And that is that behind the scenes, the actual inner framing of the computing, open AI, and the small grouping of competitors, there's a ton of risk that if something happens with them, it either slows the process down or it could even put it on pause for a significant period of time. But I don't see it as a house of cards. There's no way that you'd have a ton of competitors in that space because the amount of money that it's taking to get it done is huge. But I do think that when you go back into the 90s and you think about internet, where we're at right now is that stage going into the AI world. So I don't see it as a bubble. I don't see it as something that's a house of cards. I do think that there's a ton of opportunity and a lot of risk. And that's the ultimate thing about investing. Now, where I do see a possible bubble is you go behind the veil of the publicly traded stocks and bonds and you look at private equity. There's a ton of private equity money. I mean, like amounts that are even, when you hear the numbers, they don't even really register in my mind. And that's flooding into looking for the next NVIDIA, looking for the next open AI. And so as a result of that, you got a lot of money going to companies that aren't making any money, that are venture capital. And therein lies where I see a bubble. Now, bubbles can go on for quite a long time. And is it going to happen in this economic cycle, next economic cycle? Impossible to say. It will have some bleed through to the rest of the markets, but very, very much less, in my view, than what happened in, say, 2000, because that was happening in the publicly traded marketplace. So AI, I believe that it's a very, very big driver currently of the downdraft, as well as what was going on in the upward trends. And I believe that it's here to stay. And I view this as a buying opportunity. We're not buying today, but we're looking for that timing. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's in the next 3 to 10 days. So there's a lot more I could say about the stock market, but I think that's the essence of it. The economy, as you've heard me say, whenever you have a recession, and we don't see one in the current data, now we're missing a month's worth of data. Whenever you have a recession, you have recovery, stage 1, mid, stage 2, late, which is where we're at right now, stage 3, and I view that we're in the middle of that, and then end. And end is where the recession is. So I had someone ask me, you've said it's not within 2 years for some time, and it seems like it keeps getting pushed off. A better way of me saying that is that there's no recession within a 2-year time frame in the economic data. But I would say that I would calibrate that now. There's no recession in the next year to 12 to 18 months. And we need the most recent data and then the next several months. So I'm going to sign off from here saying that this is probably a buying opportunity. We've got money set aside to do that. appreciate your trust. If there's anything you need, just reach out to the appropriate person on our team and get something scheduled. Have a great day, and again, thank you for your trust.